What's up, everybody? It's your boys Cam and T back at it again, man. If you like this type of content, man, go ahead and like the podcast. Also, as well, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel as well. You can find us on all streaming platforms. That's going to be Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, also as well, iTunes and so on and so forth. We're on literally every platform. So we appreciate y'all's love and support. I am your co-host, Tony T. Time West, and we also have my brother from another mother, Cam. Happy Pod Day, bro. Happy Tuesday. How you doing, man?
Happy Tuesday, man. Doing good, man. Doing good. Can't complain. Can't call it. I'm feeling good, man.
Yeah,
How about
same here,
yourself?
man. I can't really complain, man. I'm just blessed to be alive and well and healthy, and you know what I'm saying? I really can't complain, man. So I'm pretty good, man. Just typical Tuesday. Tuesday is always my long day, so it's kind of like a long day for me at work and stuff like that. So obviously, man, but coming on here in the pod is like the perfect way to end my day. Coming on here doing something I love doing, which is talking sports. So again, man, appreciate you, Cam, for everything you do for the pod. I appreciate you being on here. And thanks y'all to all y'all that support and show us love, man. We really do appreciate that for real, because y'all really keep us going.
Yup.
So thank y'all for sure. So let's jump into it tonight, man. We got a lot going on tonight, Cam. This is gonna be a pretty, nice show right here, because there's a lot going on. I feel like we just had the best weekend of college football in a while, bro. I'm not gonna lie. So we definitely gonna talk about that. Talk about it's the NFL coach got fired already, Cam, and it's not even week 6, and it ain't a Panthers coach for once. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we gotta talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about the NFL too, just in general. But first, before we start, man, we do want to send a prayer up to everybody that's possibly going to be affected by the hurricane that's about to take place in Tampa and in Florida in general, man. Y'all stay safe out there. Hopefully, a lot of y'all have left that area, because they saying it's supposed to be like a hurricane category 5, which is like, you know what I'm saying, the biggest a hurricane can go. So if you are in Florida or you got family there, we really are sending our prayers. And just wanted to say that first before we even get started with the podcast episode. I know you like lived in Florida for a little bit, Cam. I didn't know if you wanted to speak to it at all, but yeah, I just wanted to send out our prayers to everybody that's out there and who may be affected.
Nope. I I hated it down there. So
Yeah,
I mean, I hope everybody gets out, but them people don't take no hurricane serious, bro. Them people staying down there, and they gonna get swept away, because they just don't they used to it, and they feel like a lot of people down there don't have nowhere else to go, so they ain't got no choice but to stay. But I'm sending obviously sending prayers to the people that's down there, but then people don't take that thing. A lot of them people don't take that thing serious, man.
yeah, because the
I
Tampa
mean,
mayor was saying like, if you don't leave, you essentially might like die.
yeah. I
Essentially,
mean, and they people still don't be listening, bro. A lot of people, believe it or not, really ain't left that city, that area ever in their life. So a lot of people just don't know, like, you
yeah,
can actually be safe other places. But anyway, hopefully those of y'all that's listening that live in Florida, I hope y'all stay safe. I'm
yeah.
praying for y'all. Um, and we wish y'all well. We wish y'all the best.
Yeah, absolutely. We wish them the best, man, honestly. All right, man, let's go ahead and jump into the stuff tonight. Also, as well, if you're watching this on Twitter, YouTube, wherever, share this, man. Retweet it. Do what you got to do, man. Show us some love. We're trying to continue to grow the platforms, man. We appreciate y'all's love and support. Like I said, we're going to talk about college football first tonight. Then we'll start transitioning into the NFL. Cam, I think this was the best college football weekend I've seen in my 30 years of life. Well, 29 years, about to be 30 years and 6 months of life. I'm not going to lie, bro. I have never seen so many upsets or almost upsets in one weekend in my entire life. First off, it started off at the beginning of the day, right? Texas A&M and Mizzou was the only ranked game in the 12 o'clock window. Mizzou came in at number 9. A&M came in at number 25, and they blew the absolute doors off of Missouri. I mean, it was never close, man. They were in control of that whole entire game. Mizzou, we talked about them a little bit last week, Cam. We thought they was on fraud watch. I told you just a minute ago, they ain't on fraud watch no more. They on the list. They frauds, man. And that's a team I hyped up a lot this offseason that just, I mean, I'll be quite frankly honest, they're just not good, man. I mean, you can make a solid argument from them. They could potentially, I mean, they could have lost to Boston College. They lost to A&M. I think they could have lost to Boston College, A&M. It's somebody else I'm missing they about lost to, too. It was another team. Vanderbilt. Yeah, Vanderbilt. You can make a solid argument they should be like 1-5, 1-4. No cap. Like, and it would not like make me mad at all. Missouri's a fraud. Then we seen a really good ACC game where 22 ranked Louisville gets knocked off. SMU all of a sudden, Cam, they're rolling. They look good. They look legit. And they're going to be a team in the ACC.
I told you about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I told you about that quarterback, man, at SMU.
That boy cold, bro. Man. That boy cold. He good. SMU is another team you're probably going to have to watch out for because I think they're probably going to be favored in the rest of their games. They're probably going to be favored if they don't play Miami and they don't play Clemson. I mean, who else you think of the ACC is hanging with them? Maybe Pittsburgh, and I don't know if they play them or not. But if they don't, I mean, they should probably sweep through the rest of their schedule. Then we'll talk about more games that took place. And probably the biggest shock of the day is, and this is what we'll spend the majority of our moment, Vanderbilt knocking off number one in the country, Alabama in Nashville. 40-35. And I'm not going to lie, Vanderbilt looked like the better team the whole entire game, Cam. Like from start to finish, bro, they look like the better team. We also seen Tennessee go down to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and lose 19-14. Nico, I'm not really quite sold on him completely yet, bro. I'm not gonna lie because he has not looked great this season. He looked good in the first couple of games, but the last like 3 games, he's looked kind of hit or miss against real competition.
Right.
Washington, they beat Michigan 27-17. Michigan came in that day 10. And I think Michigan's a fraud anyway. I never really thought they were good. But still, that's a pretty big win for Washington, especially since those two played the national championship last year. Then that same exact like 10 or 15 minutes from each other, Minnesota knocks off USC. And that's another coach we might have to put on fraud watch at some point is Lincoln Riley. You know, they go up there to Minnesota and they get beat 24-17. And the last game I want to talk about, even though it resulted into a win, Miami barely escapes Cal. And they were down at one point, like, I think it was like, I can't remember.
I think it was it 35-10?
35-10. That's it. They were down 35-10 and marched their way all the way back in this game. Should have probably lost. They got away with another call this week. But man, dude, 2 calls. Yeah, the player down the field call and also as well the targeting call that would have put, you know, Cal in position to essentially end the game. Cam, let's start off with Vandy. Let's go there first. How did you feel when you heard the reaction that Vanderbilt, out of all places, had knocked off Alabama? What were your thoughts?
So my first thought was Vanderbilt's kind of good. All right, we gotta give them their credit. They almost knocked off Missouri last week in Columbia, and they did knock off Alabama this week in Nashville. And I thought that was my first thought, was like, okay, Vanderbilt, they got a pretty good squad this year. I feel like I was kind of surprised to see that they weren't ranked coming into this week, but they lost to Georgia State, and that's a terrible loss to have.
Yeah.
For an SEC team. So that's pretty much what I was thinking. As far as the Alabama side goes, how do you let that happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, that was Vanderbilt's first ever win against a number 1 ranked team. That was their first ever win against a top 5 ranked team. They were 0-60 all time against top 5 teams, and now they're 1-60. I mean, that's a huge program building win for Vanderbilt. And as far as Alabama goes, that's a huge loss in this year. I mean, that could potentially hold them out of the college football playoff. That could potentially keep Jalen Milroe from winning the Heisman. I mean, there's a lot at stake there, and that's an SEC loss. You know what I'm saying? That's an SEC loss that shouldn't have happened. And so now you got to contend with, you know, Georgia. Now you pretty much tied with them. You own the tiebreaker, but you pretty much tied with them. If something happens going into championship weekend, Texas is obviously rolling, and you know they're the new number 1 team in the country. Yep. They're most likely, there's a great chance that they're going to finish the season undefeated, because I do think they can beat Georgia. So you know, Alabama, you kind of
Texas and Georgia
next week.
They
play next week. So Alabama, you kind of shot yourself in the foot here, because you cannot afford to lose any other game, and that includes the Iron Bowl. And we all know how rivalry weekend goes. So Auburn actually is going to have a leg up on you guys, because now they know that they can potentially keep you guys out of the SEC championship. Mm-hmm. And if Georgia beats Texas, that's going to blow this whole thing open.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's a terrible loss for Alabama. I don't know who else they play on their schedule that's notable.
I got you right here. So Alabama, this is what the rest of their schedule looks like. So they have South Carolina this week. I think they get an easy dub, and I'm gonna get into them in a few seconds because I think Shane Beamer's an absolute fraud. Then you have Tennessee at Tennessee. Again, they should win this game, but I don't know. They lost up there a couple years ago when Bryce Young was there. We'll see. Then they have Missouri. I think absolute fraud watch. Not fraud watch. Missouri's a fraud. Then they have at LSU. That's always a tricky game as well. Then they have Mercer. Should be a walk in the park. And this is another quietly tricky one right before Iron Bowl. They got Oklahoma at Oklahoma the week before the Iron Bowl. So that ain't no walk in the park game either for them. And then they obviously have Auburn the last weekend of the month. So again, man, I don't really think any of those games are walk in the parks, honestly. Besides, like, I think Missouri's fraudulent. South Carolina's not. I think they're fraudulent. And I'll talk about that in a second. But
Tennessee and Oklahoma.
That's pretty. And Auburn.
That's tough. And Auburn.
Because it's Auburn. It's Auburn. That game's always tricky. It don't matter how bad Auburn is. It doesn't matter.
I mean, Auburn should have beat them last year. But Jalen Milroe had that ice in his veins. So,
yeah.
I mean, listen, it's tough, bro. Like, Alabama, that's a terrible loss for that program. And I think for Kalen DeBoer, that should be kind of a smack in the face, because I think after being ranked number 1 and after knocking off Georgia, I think he kind of thought that the rest of the schedule was going to be a breeze, because let's face it, Georgia was going to be the toughest team that they faced no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And they did get past him. But I feel like he thought that the rest of the schedule was going to be a breeze, but you got to have that next week mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like, after you get a victory, no matter how big it is, you got to get ready for the next week, no matter who the opponent is. Yeah. And I think for Alabama, they were thinking Georgia's the toughest game. Vanderbilt's probably one of the weaker games that they thought they were going to play. Yeah. And, and they kind of embarrassed themselves up in Nashville. So shout out to Vanderbilt. They did a really good job. I'm glad that they were able to get a huge W. That's great for their program. And then for Alabama, you got to get back to the drawing board. And who you said they got South Carolina this week?
Yeah.
I mean, South Carolina's defensive line is really, really freaking good. So, like you said, it should be a walk in the park because they are on fraud watch. But you never know. You never know.
Yeah, I agree.
Because would you say, I mean, going into last week, you would have thought South Carolina was probably a better team than Vanderbilt, right?
Yeah. So I don't know if I think that no more, though. I'm going to be honest. I think that Diego Pavia, dude, he's good, man. I said this on Twitter when the game happened. No disrespect to Vanderbilt. That dude deserves to be at a big school. Like, I mean, he's in the SEC. Yeah, he's at a Power 4 school, but he deserves to be at, like, a big school. Like, he's a really good player. So, again, shout out to them. I thought Vanderbilt played really well. And like you said, they've been kind of fighting all this year. So it's not that surprising, but them beating Bama, no, I'm not going to lie. It's crazy. I'm not going to even hold it. It's very surprising. I want to talk a little bit about Tennessee a little bit too, because Tennessee lost to Arkansas this week. And again, I want to talk a little bit about Nico because I'm just not completely sold on him. I thought the Oklahoma game he was kind of this game he was kind of he went 17 for 29, 158 yards. Just not really that impressive. The offense really didn't get moving like that at all either. No touchdowns, but no interceptions either. He took 4 sacks. I thought the offensive line was pretty bad. 39.5 QBR. Tennessee, I'm wondering, are they a one-trick pony, Cam? And that's my concern with them right now, is if that defensive line is not creating a bunch of pressure and they can't get that run game going, are they cooked, essentially? Because I think you talked about this a couple weeks ago with Tennessee. You was like, I'm not quite sure if they're just a one-trick pony. And I'm not sure either. To be quite frankly honest with you, I'm starting to get like how you was, because you remember I was believing in Tennessee, but now I'm just like, I don't know. Losing to Arkansas in that fashion, and I think Arkansas is a little bit improved, but you're supposed to be the number 14 in the country. You got to go in there and knock them out. How did you feel about Tennessee just in general, just losing that game?
Yeah, so I didn't watch the game, but what I will say is I'll reiterate the point that you made. It's the offense, bro. Like, is the offense, is it going to be that basic? You know what I'm saying? Because you remember I called it out before.
You said it after the Oklahoma game.
Yeah, it's just
the Oklahoma game.
It's just it's basic, bro. You know what I mean? Like, are you gonna be able to when a real defense gets in there, and when they start to smash you in your mouth, pause. When they start to push up on that offensive line, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is Nico gonna be able to do? We know he was a 5-star plus or whatever. He got all the talent in the world, but the offense is so bare bones and it's so basic that, a lot of quarterbacks. This is my thing about it. I feel like a quarterback, like, a 3-star, 4-star quarterback, somebody who needs a little more assistance would fit well in that Tennessee offense because it's very quarterback friendly and it'll make any quarterback look good. But a guy like a Nico, how do I put this, bro? Let's say, okay, I got you, bro. Let's say me and you decided to play basketball, all right? Mm-hmm. And let's say we was playing football and we was playing out there with a bunch of 5-year-olds, right? So we played with a bunch of 5-year-olds for like a year straight, 2 years straight, 3 years straight. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, we decide, you know what? Let's go play with the big boys. What's going to happen to us?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, we're going to get embarrassed, bro, because we've been playing with 5-year-olds. We've been playing basic football. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody been touching us. As soon as we get hit by somebody 30 years old, we're going to be on the ground for a while. You know what I'm saying? As soon as somebody 30 years old starts seeing what we doing and noticing what we doing, we're going to get picked off. You know what I mean? That's what I'm worried about with Nico in that offense. I think it's a little too dumb for him, is what I'm trying to say. I think it's too slow for him. He needs to be in an offense that asks him to do more. I know that's kind of crazy to say, but I mean, he was a 5-star. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, you want to help your quarterback, but they do too much helping. You know what I mean? They don't do enough. And then when the going gets tough, and now they're like, okay, Nico, we kind of need you to do something. We need you to get us back in this game. He ain't used to it. Mm-hmm. He don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't you calling basic plays, you calling basic one read RPOs essentially is what you're doing the whole game. And it's working because you got speedsters on the outside and you got a dog at running back in the middle. But again, when that doesn't work, what you gonna do? Now you got to open up the playbook more. And he getting into, instead of him reading at a first and second grade level, now the back of the playbook is at a collegiate level. You know what I'm saying? And he like, dang, I got to kind of stress myself out to try to read this and try to be able to read this defense and try to be able to understand this play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Tennessee, they got their head coach, I can't think of his name right now. Butch, ain't it?
No.
Not Butch. What's my
Josh Heupel.
Josh Heupel, thank you. Josh Heupel got to be able to, get that offense, and I think he needs to get back to the drawing board. Obviously, you can't do that in the season,
Yeah, because
But
it feel like with what's that boy that was there, Hendon Hooker. It felt like he was a lot more like creative with the playbook
yep,
then. But
yep,
it seemed like with Nico, he dumbed it down. Maybe it's because of the lack of experience. I don't know.
could be. It could be. It could be because of that. It could be because he was playing with Joe Milton last year, and they
Yeah,
really needed to dumb it down. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I mean, it could be a lot of things, or it could be like you said, Hendon Hooker. He came from Virginia Tech. He
yeah,
came from another school where he had more experience. You know what I'm saying? He had a
yeah.
little more experience being more creative and having to do things on his own. Because Virginia Tech really wasn't doing him no favors when he was there either.
No,
You know what I mean? So when he got to Tennessee, it was clicking on all cylinders because he had, a very good. He had a lot of experience behind him,
yeah,
or at least enough experience behind him, and the offense was built to make him look better. And
right.
then when you get to Joe Milton, they were thinking because they had to dumb it down for him because they were thinking that okay, we're gonna get in. He's gonna play similar to Hendon Hooker because his arm is live. I mean, he can throw it
Yeah,
90 yards or whatever. So they're thinking, we can kind of, just keep rolling with the same playbook. Then they had to dumb it down for him. And then Nico comes in, and I think they kept it dumbed down when Nico probably should be playing closer to the level that Hendon Hooker was playing at. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
And so that's really it with Tennessee. That's all I worry about. And I'm gonna keep saying it until I'm proven wrong. Like, is the offense gonna ask their quarterback to do more throughout the game, throughout the season, instead of just giving what's gonna be there, or excuse me,
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
what's gonna
I get
be
what
there.
you're
You know what I
saying.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I agree. I think they just got to be a little bit more open and be a little bit more creative on offense. Let's move
yeah,
on to because I want to talk about USC a little bit because they're another team I'm starting to really question. I thought Lincoln Riley had kind of turned their corner, and I think I was wrong.
yeah.
They just lost to Minnesota. They're gonna lose more games. They just lost to Michigan last week that can't do nothing but run the ball. They struggled with Wisconsin. What was that? No, that was last week,
That was last
right?
week. Yeah,
They were struggling with Wisconsin in LA. They lost to Michigan the week before that, and then this week they get beat by Minnesota. They are in a rude awakening
yeah,
in the Big Ten. And we kind of knew this was going to be a multi-year process for like the UCLAs, and they look terrible too.
right.
For the UCLAs and the USC, and I'm even kind of interested to see what Oregon and Ohio State's going to look like on Saturday. But we knew this was going to be an adjustment period for especially USC and UCLA, the two California teams, because they operate more on wide open concepts on offense, smaller O linemen, not much defense is being played. And now
Right.
you're in the Big Ten where it's the complete opposite. Defense is being played.
Big
You
boys on
got big
offensive
hog
line.
mollies up front. You know what I'm saying? Cornbread fed. So
Yes.
I think I think, and I know USC fans are frustrated right now. And I mean, I get it, but I think this is a multi-year process for them. I
Mhm.
mean, it's going to take probably like 2 or 3 recruiting classes to get on the level of, and you probably gonna have to go to Wisconsin and get a couple players on that O line, and not recruit just California, and you're gonna have to get some big guys, and I think that is part of the problem with them. But let me ask you this, because I've seen a lot of USC fans calling for Lincoln Riley job this weekend. Do you think he should be fired, or do you think the seat should be hot at this point, or no?
So we talked about Lincoln Riley. A couple was at the beginning of the season.
That
We
was the
talked about
first
him.
game after they beat LSU. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about him a little bit because we were saying that he might be on fraud watch, and
Mm-hmm.
I think he still is on fraud watch, but I think he's on fraud watch basically due to his head coaching duties in terms of recruiting on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And offensive line now, because that offensive line
Yeah.
is terrible.
It's
I mean,
terrible.
that's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Miller Moss. I think he's actually been playing really well for what
I like
he's
that
been given.
that running back. They got 2 marks. I like him.
Yeah.
He's really good.
And then obviously the wide receivers I think they got Hudson, they got Branch,
Yeah.
and they got another kid out there too. But they got a lot of good weapons. It's
They
just
always
that
do, though. They
they always do.
Oklahoma had that like that. It's with all Lincoln Riley
Mm-hmm.
teams just like that. Like
That yeah, and but for some reason he can't get the O line fixed, and he ain't got nothing on defense. It seemed like, you know what I'm saying. Really, I should say he ain't got nothing on the O line. Defenses, I think it's a little bit more improved than it was in the
yeah,
last couple of
yeah,
seasons.
yeah. The defense
But
has improved. Yeah,
yeah, it's a little bit better. But man, it's just like you said though. I think you said it best. You made a great point. In the Big Ten though, you can't get away with that like you
no,
could in the Pac-12.
no,
You know
mm-mm,
what I'm saying?
no.
Because in the Big Ten, you got cornerbacks all over the place. And it
Yeah,
seemed like, I mean, Iowa, Michigan, Ohio State, you know what I'm saying? Oregon, even though they was in the Pac-12, they got corners. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Always. You got edge rushers. I mean, my God. I mean, Iowa. You know what I'm saying? Iowa is literally probably the opposite of USC, if we
yeah,
being completely honest. Defense is all they care about in Iowa. They would be so happy if they won a game 9-7.
yeah,
Shout down to Ron Rivera. They would love that. You know what I'm saying? But you can't get away with that at USC and in the Big 12. You can't go in there with no kind of defense. You at least got to have a middle of the pack, slightly above average defense. You can't get away with that. Because like you said, all these other teams are built to run the ball
yep.
and they built to stop you on defense. And I don't know. I don't know if I would fire Lincoln Riley though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the seat need to be getting a little warm. But I don't know if I would fire him. If I would,
Yeah, that's how I feel. I would keep the seat warm, but I wouldn't fire him. I
yeah,
think it's going. I think next year is when you gotta. If they got 2 Big Ten, well, really should be 3 Big Ten recruiting classes by then, because you knew you was going to the Big Ten back really before last year. So
yeah.
if you get your 3 recruiting classes in, transfer portal, and all that, and you still terrible, then next year, yeah. But I hate to tell USC fans they're going to lose a couple more games this year.
Oh yeah.
Like that's just a fact. I think they play Penn State Saturday. That's going to be another L. I believe they play, and he's a USC fan. He's in the comment section right now. I believe they play Penn State on Saturday, and that's probably going to be another loss for them.
See, yeah. I think Lincoln Riley, he need to go to. I mean, I can't even say what conference he need to go to. I mean, he might need to go back to the Big 12. I mean, because
yeah,
it's tough because I can't say he need to go to the SEC because it's gonna be even worse for him there.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he can't go to another Big 10 school, but I mean, that's your 2 super conferences right now. Yeah. And then, I mean, the ACC, I guess he could go there, but where he gonna go and what he gonna get? You know, he already at one of the best spots he could possibly be at.
Yeah.
And so the Big 12, I mean, where can he go there? What can he do there? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what team would take him. I don't know what team is willing to fire their coach right now in the Big 12 that would say, "Come on, Lincoln Riley, let's get some offense going." You know?
Yeah.
I don't know, bro.
Yeah, I don't know either, man. Let's move on because I want to talk a little bit about. I want to talk about South Carolina a little bit because I thought, and I'm gonna be honest, this ain't no haterade or none of that. I thought South Carolina was gonna show up on Saturday. I'm not gonna lie. I actually had South Carolina winning that game. I thought they were gonna win that game, to be honest with you. South Carolina looked absolutely horrible from start to finish. They were terrible. Lenore Sellers, is that his name? Lenore Sellers, he was terrible.
Lenore Sellers,
he was terrible. 20 for 32, 162 yards, 1 touchdown. He did run for 55 yards. The run game was pretty much non-existent besides him. I mean, they just were terrible. It's no other way around. The defense is still all right. They did some pretty good things. That Jackson Dart only had, he went 14 for 27. Now, he did have 285 yards, but we kind of expected that with all those wide receivers that, Ole Miss has. But I just want to talk about how flat South Carolina looked. And that I just did not really understand, especially off of the weeks you just had. You lost LSU. And you would have thought they had some type of, resurgence, some type of, we ready to get back at it. You lost to LSU, and then you beat, Akron. Who cares about that, right? And then you turn around knowing you got this gauntlet ahead of you because they have, Cam, I want you to, this is South Carolina's schedule for the rest of the season. They have Alabama this weekend. They have Oklahoma. Oh, by the way, it's at Alabama, at Oklahoma, back-to-back weeks. So the likelihood of them winning those games are pretty low, probably. They have Texas A&M. Texas A&M is hot right now. They have at Vanderbilt. I don't know if South Carolina's a better team than Vanderbilt right now, in my personal opinion. Then they have Missouri. They kind of even a little bit. That game could go either way. Then they have Wofford, obviously should be a dub. And then they have at Clemson. And Clemson's playing like one of the better teams in the country right now. That's a win against Ole Miss coming off a loss that you at least want to look competitive in. And Shane Beamer said, oh, no, we're not going to show up. We got dumb idiots doing gun celebrations and not being this. They are one of the most undisciplined teams I have ever seen. I think Shane Beamer's a fraud, bro. I think he's a good recruiter, and that's about it. For South Carolina standards, he's a good recruiter, and that's about it. He does not develop guys. I mean, look at Nick Harbor. Nick Harbor's this athletic freak, and he don't even use them. He don't even use them. This Dylan Stewart kid is really good. I hope he don't ruin that young man's career. DeMazio Bennett kid, he's really good. I hope he don't ruin his career. But I think Shane Beamer's a fraud, bro. I'm going to be honest with you. After a game that you just had LSU and probably should have won that game, it wasn't for bad officiating. You play Akron and you turn around and get – and you had a week off in between that time of Akron and Ole Miss, and you come out there and look that flat. It's unacceptable, bro. It's unacceptable, dog. Yeah. I think Shane Beamer's a fraud.
Yeah, I can't knock it. I kind of liked Shane Beamer, thinking that he would kind of fix South Carolina up a little bit. I think they've had a solid year every now and then here and there under him. Really just one, but still, it's a shame because, like you said, they got a very talented defensive line. They kind of got a really good. I mean, to be honest, they got a nice nucleus on offense. I think Sellers is okay. Rocket Sanders is a really good running back. Like you said, the Bennett kid at wide receiver is pretty good, right? And then, they had another dude too. He just slipped my mind. But regardless, and then their backup quarterback played outstanding against Akron. I mean, he lit it up.
Robbie
Ashford. Yeah, Robbie Ashford. He lit it up. I think they backup because I think Rocket Sanders was out as well. That game, I think they backup running back did some damage too, but. Regardless, I'm with you though. Yeah, he's on fraud watch. I mean, really, it's past fraud watch. I think this season, unfortunately,
if you look at that schedule, Cam, how many more games do you see?
No, they're not. They listen, bro. I
only really see for sure Wofford. That's it.
They'll be lucky if they get two more. They'll be lucky if they get two more. I
agree.
Which is why I say, how many they got now already? They got two.
They got 3 wins at this moment.
3-2.
Yeah, at this moment they're 3-2. Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, they didn't look good against Old Dominion earlier in the season though, too. You remember that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The LSU game really was the best game that they played. And the Kentucky game. The
Kentucky win looks good now because they look like kind of decent.
They look better. Absolutely. Yeah, they look a lot better. So
Kentucky win was impressive, but I'm looking at the schedule, man. If they didn't have that Kentucky win, man, I don't know if I see many wins on here for South Carolina. And I'm not hating or nothing. I'm just keeping it real. Like, that's a tough schedule.
Do they even get bowl eligible, bro?
I don't think so.
They got 3 wins. They got to get Vanderbilt. They got to get Wofford. And I hate to say it, but they really got to. Third best chance is probably Clemson.
Yeah, probably.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, Missouri. I think Clemson's better than Missouri.
Missouri on the schedule.
They got Missouri at home.
Okay.
So they gotta get.
They might get a shot. They might get a shot. They might get Vandy. They should get Wofford. They might get Missouri. If they play like they did against, Kentucky, they definitely are gonna get Missouri. That was outstanding. Yeah, for sure.
Quick before we transition over to NFL, Clemson got a win. Didn't play the best. I thought that was the worst they played since Georgia game, honestly. But they still dominated. If you look at the stats, you'd be like, holy shit. Clemson played amazing, but they really didn't. They did not play good at all. But that's the signs of a team improving. They beat Florida State. I thought Brock Glenn did some good things for Florida State as well. I think he's way better than DJ. No disrespect, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Just quick 30 seconds. What did you think of Clemson this weekend? What did you think overall?
Yeah. So I thought that I think they're still finding their offensive identity, to be honest with you. I think the receivers were very inconsistent this weekend.
Yeah, they were.
I was kind of shocked by that. They gotta, I mean, they're freshmen though. The guys are young.
A lot of them were freshmen.
So I thought they were very inconsistent. I think there's a couple things that need to be tightened up. Defensively, I'm kind of with you though. I know what you've been saying about Peter Woods. I think it's time to move him back inside. I do like K-Part. I thought he played a great game. Was this weekend? Yeah. Thought he played a great game. I like Trey Williams as well. We need help at edge rusher though, bro. I think we need help at edge rusher.
The answer, bro. Lawson is the answer at edge rusher. Jaheim Lawson needs to be the starter, bro. I'm telling you. If you go back and watch, he was explosive off the end. You gotta start him. I say move Kate Park and Woods in the middle. Let Page rotate with them, and then have Jaheim Lawson and also as well TJ Parker on the other side, and call it like that. But I think after a weekend that we just seen, I think you just got to be glad Clemson got a win. There's a lot of people that went on the road and lost to teams they should have not lost to, and I think Clemson kind of dominated them. Once they got up 17-0, they kind of pulled the brakes off. Like, all right, we're gonna chill out now. You know what I'm saying? So I think Clemson just had a rough game, but I'd rather win and still cover the spread and get out of there with a win than to go down there and lose like a lot of teams did this weekend. Yeah. So I'm not going to complain too much.
And that's a rivalry game too.
That's a rivalry game. Exactly.
You know what I mean? And like you said, it wasn't particularly close. It was just that we didn't play well. You know what I'm saying? We didn't give Florida State a chance. Don't get me wrong. They never had a chance. Yeah, they never had a shot. Clemson can play better than that.
Yeah.
And it's good because I feel like they know they could play better than that too. And that's why I like seeing it. Did you see, before we move on, did you see the new depth chart? What they got?
No, I haven't been on Twitter like that much. No.
So finally at wide receiver, TJ Moore is finally, well, he's got an "or" next to his name, but pretty much he's gonna be starting. Okay. You got Antonio Williams obviously is there. They still got Tyler Brown or Troy Stellato there, and then they got Westco. But
straight up starter.
He's was he? He might. I think he was a straight up starter. I think.
What I'm talking about. That.
No. It was or Adam Randall, but we know that. We know that.
He got a foot situation going on. Yeah. But the starting for Clemson needs to be just like this. Wesco on one side on the outside, Moore on the other outside. The two middle dudes need to be Tyler Brown and Antonio Williams. And call it a day, bro. That's what needs to happen. But again, I think Clemson just I think they took their foot off the brake a little bit because they knew they was beating them and they knew they had the game in control. And again, I just think it was one of them fluky games where they didn't. Cade, I thought, actually still played very well. And we got to talk about him as a potential Heisman person at some point. But yeah, I thought they did a really good job. Even though it wasn't the best game, they got to win. I'll take that with the way things went this weekend, especially. It's hard for me to complain when we just seen, Missouri get blasted, Alabama lose to unranked Vanderbilt. It's kind of hard for me to be like, we covered and we won by 16 points. Let's freak out. No, it's kind of hard for me to do that after seeing the weekend that just happened, in my personal opinion.
And we back in the top 10.
And we back in the top 10.
We climbed from 25 all the way up to 10 just because we've been playing so well the last couple of weeks.
And teams been losing.
I mean, how many 5 top 11 teams lost this weekend?
5. It should have been low-key 6 because it should have been Miami too. They should have been out of here too. But that's another story for another day. All right, let's get on to the NFL. Robert Saleh fired today after a 2-3 start to the season. Completely fired. Now he's been there for 4 seasons now.
4 seasons.
And he was fired today. Cam, I know you said you want to talk about it. Allegedly, he was escorted out. He wasn't even able to tell his team, like, "Hey, y'all, I'm getting canned. I holler at y'all, when I can." He
Right.
was pretty much, as soon as he got in the building, hey brother, you gotta leave.
That's exactly what happened.
So
Allegedly.
you know a little bit more about the situation than I do. What's your take on the whole Robert Saleh thing?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, um I think a lot of people don't. I think they underestimated him, and I was always pulling for bro up in New York. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I think he's a really decent guy. I think he's a good coach, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, offensively is just not his forte. He's got to get somebody in. If he gets another shot at a head coaching job, he got to get somebody that knows what they're doing on the offensive side of things.
Yeah.
Because he don't, and that's fine because he's a defensive guy, strictly defensive guy. If you look at the Jets the last 4 years, defensively, they're one of the best teams. They're elite.
They've been good.
They were elite. The problem is you got Zach Wilson. I think they had Sam Darnold for a second. They had they got 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers. They had Mike White, and I think they had Tim Boyle.
They had 6 starters in like the last 2-3 years.
Listen, man. I mean, it's Trevor Siemian, I think, was in the mix too at one point.
Well, yep.
I mean,
Joe Flacco, I believe, was in there too at some point.
I mean, bro, it's a bad situation all around. And to escort him off the premises, I thought that was lame. And a lot of people got online and were like, "Oh, you guys are reading too much into it. If I get fired from my job, they escort me off the premises. You a victim too. That's not okay. It's human decency, bro. You need to be able to collect your stuff and to be able to address people.
They didn't even let him go into to get his stuff. Allegedly,
they said he clocked in, and as soon as he clocked in, the owner was waiting for him in the office, and they told him that he was let go and he was escorted out the building, bro. Like you gotta at least let me get my stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sure they did, but you ain't gotta escort me out and have police or security on my neck, breathing down my neck, telling me, "Hey man, you gotta," because you already know how they was doing. Hey man, you gotta come on, man, get your stuff.
I ain't never heard of no, and maybe I'm wrong. I ain't never heard no other NFL coach getting done like that. Maybe I'm wrong again. Maybe I've never heard. I've never heard that.
You not. It hasn't happened in your. They said it was the first time in decades that this has happened, that a head coach has gotten escorted off the premises.
Yeah, I've never. Now, was he belligerent? Was he like cussing him out? Maybe that's
he should have
why.
been. He should have been.
I agree. I think his record is terrible, but a lot of it was not his fault. I'm gonna be honest with you. Nope. So let me ask you another question then. Do you think Aaron Rodgers made this call?
So I got more on that too.
Okay.
So from what I know, or at least from what I've been reading, from what I've heard, they said that Robert Saleh actually was demoting Nathaniel Hackett from OC. He was going to give play calling duty to somebody else, and that's Rodgers' boy. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And the owner also said that he talked to Aaron Rodgers on the phone last night.
Oh,
you see what I'm saying? Rodgers had to call, and you got to keep in mind, this is the same Aaron Rodgers who pushed Robert Saleh on live TV. Remember that? Yeah. In one of the games, and he talked bad about him in the press conference after one of the games. Aaron Rodgers never liked dude. So yeah, that was an Aaron Rodgers move. That was an Aaron Rodgers decision right there. The Jets, they owner, I forget his name, Woody something. Woody something. Woody
Hayes, ain't it?
It starts with an H. I don't know if it's Hayes, but
I don't know. But go ahead though.
He the Jets, the Jets owner,
Woody Johnson. My bad.
Woody Johnson and Joe Douglas, the GM. They're taking a back seat to a 40-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles that just threw 3 interceptions on Sunday.
And been terrible besides one game this season.
Keep in mind, the team that they just lost to was the Denver Broncos. Let's be real, bro. Robert Saleh wasn't the issue. He never was. The defense has been elite.
The league defense been good, yeah.
He never was. You know what I'm saying? The team is put together pretty well. It's not a bad team. Offensive line is trash, and they could never figure out the quarterback situation. But outside of that, they've had wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? They don't really use a tight end like that, so it don't matter. They got running backs with Breece Hall and Braylon Allen now. You know what I'm saying? But you got the oldest player on the team, this dude that be taking trips in the offseason, don't know if he want to play for y'all or not, who be taking ayahuasca, who almost was a vice presidential candidate for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Like, what is he like? What are we talking about here, bro? You know what I'm saying? And I want to bring this up too. Robert Saleh wore he put on a Lebanese flag. He's Lebanese.
I
He's
seen that, yeah.
So he had the Lebanese flag on, and you know what's happening over there. They're getting bombed. They're getting
I didn't know
raided.
about that.
It's a nasty war going on. It's the same thing that's happening in Palestine. Israel is attacking them in all of that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They're being bombed. You know what I mean? Iran or somebody, I don't know who it is actually, but they're being attacked. You feel me? Innocent people are dying. I need to get more up to date on it. I'm gonna look it up after this, but innocent people are dying. They're being bombed. You know what I'm saying? U.S. dollars are going towards it. It's being funded by the United States. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Same old military nonsense. War crimes and stuff.
Right.
But he's Lebanese, so of course he's gonna wear a flag to show solidarity with his own people. Right. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not mistaken, he's one of 3 or 4 Lebanese head coaches ever in NFL history, and he's the first one since like the 90s. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a Muslim man. It's a Muslim group that came out. I just read it. Let me see if I can find it. They pretty much what they did is they asked the Jets that they need to come out and answer, like, why was he escorted off the premises? Yeah. It said the Muslim advocacy group CAIR demands that the Jets answer why Robert Saleh was fired and physically removed.
Yeah, I've never heard that happen to an NFL coach. I'm not gonna lie, it don't sound right.
They didn't do it to Adam Gase, bro. They didn't do it to Adam Gase, and Adam Gase was far worse than him. Yeah, way worse than him. Yeah. And they said physically removed after he wore the Lebanon patch on Sunday. This was just this Sunday. And it's like we need to hold these owners accountable, man. And we need to hold Aaron Rodgers way more accountable than he's been held. But I mean, it really is a shame that they did that man dirty like that. I don't appreciate it. I think he deserved to be able to end out the rest of the season, because that's kind of why you brought him back. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of why you brought him back.
2-3. It's not like they were like 0-5 or something.
And the thing is, let's look at the Jets defensive ranking. Let's look at the Jets defense. Like, what do they rank? I don't really know what they rank, but I can tell you they ain't at the bottom of the league. Right. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, you know who
what I'm saying? Yeah, I know who they're.
Yeah, we know who they're. Our team.
I know 2 teams is there actually. The Bengals is one of them, and the Panthers is the other.
So I'm about to make you laugh. You know who's giving up the second least yardage on defense this year? The New York Jets. They are They have given up the second least yardage in the NFL right now.
And what about points? Where they ranked at points?
I'm checking right now. Hold on, give me a second. Keep talking though. But yeah, they've literally given up 255 yards per game, which in the NFL, that's pretty damn good, man.
That is good. That is very good. 255, bro. I mean, some teams average more than that just passing the ball.
Correct. What was the other one you was asking me about?
Points. What they ranked in points per game?
I'll figure it out. Go ahead, keep talking though. I'll figure it out.
But I mean, listen, man. Regardless.
And by the way, they're number 4 in sacks. So the defense ain't the problem. I mean, defense, and that's without Hassan Reddick. So defense ain't a problem.
Ridiculous, man.
With the Jets.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, what more can they say, bro? I mean, they gotta answer, they have to answer the questions. Like, why is Aaron Rodgers got a gun in his back talking about hey man, we need to score more points? You the quarterback. You the one who claimed that you know more ball than anybody else in the league. You the oldest player in the league.
Right.
You supposed to know more than anybody. And you think you know more than anybody. But yet you firing the head coach. For what? What do you know that we don't know? Right? And why? And just because he don't like Nathaniel Hackett, who's a fraud, we've been knew he was a fraud. He was a fraud after he left Green Bay. When he went to the Broncos and was their head coach and got fired. How many games in he got fired? 10? 15, something like that?
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. Like, it's a shame, bro. And Aaron Rodgers always got to have his guys with him. He always got to be like that. I mean, that's why he got Lazard back to the Jets. That's why he's trying to get Devontae Adams back to the Jets because he don't know how to win without these guys. And it's pretty soon he probably gonna be crawling back to Matt LaFleur. He gonna try to crawl back to Matt LaFleur, but it's not gonna happen because they offense look better. You know it's bad when Malik Willis has the offense looking better than Aaron Rodgers did. Yeah. And Malik Willis is the backup to Jordan Love, and we ain't even got to get into that. Aaron Rodgers is the problem, bro. That's why all of this happened. And I surely hope that he didn't get fired because he had that Lebanese flag on his arm because that's a real issue.
The Jets rank 7th in the NFL on defense as far as points allowed. So still pretty
top 10, pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Very good. Very good.
So
actually,
their defense is still very much solid, honestly.
And I bet you in points. So in the last 4 years, they're the only team that had fewer than 100 touchdowns, which I was actually surprised about that Carolina wasn't there. But so they're the only team with fewer than 100 touchdowns in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Which, again, I don't know if that's an indictment on Robert Saleh, though.
Yeah.
He's not. I mean, they've had terrible injury luck. A couple years ago, offensive line was terrible. A couple years ago, they lost Breece Hall. Last year, they lost Aaron Rodgers, even though they threw the bag in him and tried to bring him in because Zach Wilson wasn't getting it done. You know? I mean, it's terrible, bro. It's terrible. It's a shame. It really is.
I mean, you took everything out of I don't even really got to say nothing. That's pretty much what I was going to say. I feel like he's been kind of served a bad hand, and that's just what it is, unfortunately. But him getting walked out, I don't know. I don't know. That just don't seem right. I don't hear that a lot about NFL coaches getting walked out and stuff. It don't sound right. And then he's a person of color. It just don't exactly. It don't look good for the NFL. So I don't know. It don't look good for the Jets. The Jets are dysfunctional. We already know that. But still, it don't look good. Let's transition on over to some other stuff in the NFL. Cam, we gotta take this Jaden Daniels brother seriously, brother.
Mm-hmm.
He's off to a tremendous start. Like, better than CJ Stroud starred. Like, this kid is the truth. And I'll be honest, I was one of the people that was really kind of like, I ain't really quite, you know what I'm saying, believing in Jaden Daniels like that. He's kind of small, you know what I'm saying, like skinny, I'm saying more so. I was just like, I don't know. And his game just seemed to translate very well with, college. Like, it just seemed like he seemed like a really good college quarterback to me when he first came out. And I think I even said that on one of these podcasts. Like, I don't know how good he's going to be. I was absolutely wrong. This kid is absolutely tremendous. Cam, he has a 77.1 completion percentage right now in the NFL. Bro, that's insane. He already has over 1,000 yards, bro. Already. He's got 300 rushing yards as well. Right now, he's got 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions if you count the rushing touchdowns as well. He's been tremendous, bro. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. He's a different player than CJ Stroud, but this guy is putting up CJ Stroud level production and numbers. It's hard for me to argue right now that this is not another guy that's going to be the face of the league. And I think the Commanders have hit their 4-1 right now and playing really good. You can tell the team is feeding off this young guy's energy. The Commanders might have hit, man. I think Jaden Daniels has to be taken a little seriously, even when it comes to MVP talk. Let's go there, because I think you have to take this kid seriously. He's got the Washington Commanders at 4-1, and they're playing tremendous. They look like a good football team all around on defense and offense. Terry McLaurin has came back alive all of a sudden since now he has a quarterback. And again, what do you think about Jaden Daniels, bro?
They already matched their win total from a season ago. Yeah. That's a huge W. That's a huge
accomplishment. With a first-year coach.
Yeah, with a first-year coach. And might I add, their offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury. I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised.
He's done a good job. I'm not going to lie.
He's done the offense, because you were saying it. I think you brought up an excellent point. You said that that you thought he would be a really good college quarterback, but we were iffy on whether or not it was going to translate to the NFL. The reason why it's translating is because of the offense that they run. It's very collegiate.
Collegiate.
You know it's very collegiate, and I love it. I love it, and I think it's fine. That's fine. Like, it can
it's
work.
Working.
It's working. Yeah. can we be honest about the Commanders roster for a
Yeah,
minute? It really ain't that good, bro. If we
not
being
all
for
that.
real, especially offensively. I mean, yeah, they got Terry McLaurin. He's a cool, a really good wide receiver. Sure, Brian Robinson is a solid running back. Austin Eckler is the backup. That's cool. You know what I'm saying?
That
That's
old
it.
line ain't good.
That's what I'm saying. That's
That old
it.
line ain't never been good.
That's
Like
it.
in
That's
the last couple of years.
you right.
So
That's all they got
now
is
that defense is
McLaurin.
pretty solid. Like that D line, you got Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen. You got some decent players.
Got
But
Frankie
again,
Louvu,
even with
Jeremy
them,
Chin.
Frankie Louvu, Jeremy
You know what I'm
Chin,
saying?
you got some guys, but it's not they're not lining up there out there with
It's
the Chiefs type of roster
no,
or
no,
Eagles type of roster. They're
right,
not lining up there with that. They lining up with a honestly overall mediocre team essentially.
right.
And Jaden Daniels has just elevated them to another level. And you just got to
Yep,
respect him, man. That kid is playing tremendous. He looks
yep.
like one of the best quarterbacks in the league already. And I just wanted to give him a little segment here to just
For
talk
sure.
about him because he's playing good football right now. And it's really
Mhm.
impressive to see, especially after what we just seen from CJ Stroud. We didn't think we would see nothing as good as CJ Stroud his rookie year. You could make a solid argument. What Daniels is doing right now is better than CJ Stroud. He got his team 4-1 right now. They're playing well. He's already over 1,000 yards passing. He's already at 300 yards rushing as well. So we're talking about almost 1,500 yards of offense just from him alone.
Yeah,
I'm impressed, bro. I'm impressed with Daniels. I'm not going cap. I'm impressed.
yeah. I would say it is more impressive because even though I think everybody thought the Texans might be, we knew they were going to be improved, right? We knew
Mm-hmm.
the Texans were going to be improved, but we didn't expect this from the Commanders, though.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
no.
We didn't expect
I
like
mean,
we
me and you both had them down there with with
at,
the Giants at the
towards the
bottom
bottom.
of the division. Yeah,
Yeah, towards the bottom, we were like, it's gonna be Eagles and Cowboys fighting for first, Giants and Commanders fighting for
fighting
last.
for last. Yeah,
You know what I mean? We thought the Commanders was probably gonna be one of the worst teams in the league because they're young and they have a new head coach, new quarterback, all of this. You know what I mean? We thought it was gonna take some time, but for
yep.
you to match your win total from a season ago,
It's
that is
pretty impressive.
major, bro. That's
Yeah.
really good. And I
Let me.
think, and my question is too, I always wonder how like a guy like Sam Howell feels. Like, how do you
Yeah,
feel knowing that,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It took you, man, like I just be thinking about that
Sometimes the
sometimes.
right situations just comes to the right people, and
That's
unfortunately
true.
for Sam Howell, Jaden Daniels just worked in the situation he's in.
Yep,
So you
that's
can't do
true.
nothing but respect it, honestly. And that don't mean nothing wrong with Sam Howell. Technically, it just means that Jaden Daniels got blessed to walk into a really good situation.
Yep.
Let's transition over to Freak Man Watson. Let's talk about that situation. Cleveland's, God forgive me, Cleveland's fucked, man. They're done. They're cooked. They are in a tear. I think the Panthers and them are on the same level of screwed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The and the thing about the Cleveland Browns is they actually have a nice roster. But when
Very
you're
good.
dedicating that much money to a quarterback who's absolutely garbage, how can you bounce back from this? How can you bounce back from this situation? Because I think Deshaun Watson's cooked. I think his reputation is cooked. I think him as a player is cooked. And I think actually, I've said this before on this podcast. I think when his reputation took a hit, it kind of took a hit on him on the field. Like he just does not seem to say. I think Deshaun liked being the likable guy that everybody likes and stuff like that. And now that he's probably one of the most hated players in the NFL now because of the situation that took place off the field, he just looks lost, man. Now, granted, I know, he's got some bad allegations out on him. I know he just lost his dad not too long ago, and I think a friend too, or a close friend like that recently. But still, he's bad, man. I think they have to bench him. Honestly, Cam, I think you got to pull a Russell Wilson this offseason. I think you just got to say, hey, we screwed up. Cut him, pay him his $50 million a year, and we're gonna have to sit on this L for probably a couple of years. And that's just what it is. But what do you think about the whole Deshaun Watson situation? Because he has to be benched. That team has given up on him. that coach has given up on him. I can tell by the way Kevin Stefanski's looking. He's given up on him. That team, I don't think cares for him like that either. I think you have to cut bait with Deshaun Watson and let it go.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have what choice do you have?
Yeah.
I mean, you thought you're paying a lot of money. You thought he was going to be, I mean, you're paying him money to where you thought he was going to be the second best quarterback in the game.
Bingo.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You pretty much thought he was going to be what he was when he was in Houston.
Yeah.
You're paying him a lot of money just to be
guaranteed too, fully
guaranteed. So you can't even get out of it. You thought he was going to be terrible. I mean, you thought he was going to be great, and he turned out to be terrible. I mean, he's worse. Bro, he's worse than Baker Mayfield was in Cleveland.
Yeah,
way worse. Way worse. Come on, dog. You got to let him go. There's nothing you can do. Look, bro, if you looked at that Cleveland Browns roster, boy, what they got is, first of all, what they got on defense. Come on, man.
Really good.
Come on, man.
It's really good.
Offensive line is good. Wide receivers, they got Jerry Jeudy and Amari Cooper. That's good. That's better than what most teams got.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You got David Njoku.
Yep.
Nick Chubb coming back.
Miles
you got Jerome
Garrett,
Ford.
one of the best edge rushers in the game, even though he's hurt, but that team is loaded. I think Joke is an underrated linebacker as well.
Yeah.
Like they are loaded.
He made a huge play this week. I think it was an
Denzel
interception at the
goal. They got 3 really solid cornerbacks. And Denzel Ward, what's my boy from Mississippi State? I like him too.
Greg Newsome.
That's he from Northwestern. What's the other one? Emerson. They still got him, Emerson Jr.
Oh,
he's still with them. I know Greg Newsome and Ward. Both of them boys is a beast. They're talented. That's the point I'm trying to get to. They're talented on that team, man. So it's just, I think, Martin Emerson Jr. Thank you, AB. Yeah, they got some good corners, man. They got that team just is loaded, and it's just unfortunate to see that good roster go to waste behind Deshaun Freakman Watson. It's sad. It's sad, man. It's sad. It's pathetic, and I think you got to cut bait. And if I'm Kevin Stefanski, I'm cutting bait, bro, to save my own job. At this point, he keeps saying, "Hey, we're gonna tie them out there." I think you got to put Jameis in, bro.
You got to put Jameis in, bro.
Yeah,
got to. You ain't got much of a choice, man.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, if you want to salvage your season, because they going out there. I mean, it's bad, bro. They going out there and getting embarrassed. I mean, they looking like. I mean,
Deshaun Watson just don't look like he even.
He don't know what he's doing.
NFL. Yeah, he don't know what he's doing. That's what I'm about to say. He don't even look like he deserved to be on the NFL field, which is bad. Live from Carolina said it too. He said Watson is done. When he gets cut, his career is done in the league. I think that's the case as well.
It's got to be.
I think it's cooked. Once he gets cut, I think this offseason that happens. I think it's Jover, man. I think it's Jover. I'm not gonna lie to you. So yeah, I mean, again, Cleveland is in a tough situation. They're screwed with that contract for at least you would think 2 more years. Yeah, they're just cooked. I mean, there's no other way about it to go about it. They're cooked. I want to talk a little about your boy Lamar a little bit too before we sign out tonight, because he looked really, really the last couple of weeks now. Lamar starting to look like MVP Lamar, and I want to talk about your boy Josh Allen too, because he's starting to kind of decline as well the last couple of weeks. We'll talk about Lamar real quickly, and then Josh Allen, then we'll wrap it up for the night. Lamar, I thought him and Burrow put on an absolute masterclass on Sunday afternoon. I thought both of them played tremendous. I know that the Bengals are 1-4, but it's not Joe Burrow's fault. I'm telling you that. It's not Joe Burrow's fault at all. He's having a tremendous season. And your boy Lamar, I'm starting to believe in him more and more as even a passer now, because he's doing some impressive stuff. I thought that touchdown he threw to Likely when he scrambled around and made that throw towards the end of the regulation, I thought that was tremendous, bro. Talk to me, man. How you feeling about Lamar and your Ravens? What are y'all record now? 4-1, 3-2? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you remember we started 0-2, barely lost to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
By a toe, and then lost one of the terrible Ravens losses
To the Raiders.
Was up huge and lost to the Raiders, bro. But the last couple weeks, man, they didn't turn it on. Lamar is different this year, bro.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's improved
like
as a passer too,
you
man.
Can you can see
impressed.
You can see it in his eyes. You can see it in his demeanor. You can see it in how he talking to his teammates. That man really wants a championship.
He want a ring. Yeah.
My issue with the Ravens, and my only issue with the Ravens, even though the offensive line is pretty bad and needs some help in this offseason upcoming. We need help at edge rusher.
Yeah.
My only issue with the Ravens, hate to say it, but it's coaching.
Yeah.
It's coaching. It's John Harbaugh. He did another Harbaughism this weekend. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but we got lucky because it was a fumble. It was a botched snap. The Bengals got the ball back. They ran the ball down. They ran the clock down. They kicked the field goal and they missed it. Then the Ravens got the ball back, and Derrick Henry, one rush, drove them all the way. He ran 50 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, he walked them boys down.
He did.
You know what I'm saying? And then they get down there, 1st and goal, and your first thought is to kick the field goal?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I didn't like that, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. We won. I mean, he made it, and it's Justin Tucker, so I kind of get it. But I didn't like that decision. And a lot of people were saying, well, if you ran the ball, you could have fumbled. Yeah, I guess.
Play to win.
Play to win. Thank you. Just get closer, bro. I mean, if you fumble, they get the ball at the 10-yard line or something like that, and you can try your best to stop. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But come on, bro. I mean, it's Harbaugh did it in week 1 when he thought likely had the touchdown. He was going to go for 2. So there was a chance we didn't even make it to overtime. We was still probably was going to lose. You know what I'm saying? I have a real bad issue with him right now. I don't think he needs to be fired. I'm not saying that, obviously. But
I mean, Stephen A said it a couple months ago, and he was kind of right. He was saying how like the Ravens, not saying that Harbaugh needs to be fired. I don't think you do that because he's still been good. But when it comes to big time decisions and big time games, he's kind of failed. You know, and that's just the truth. I don't agree with Stephen A's football takes much, but he was kind of right on that. And I was like, it's hard for me to disagree with that. So I 100% agree with you on that. But I thought Joe Burrow and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase was electric. I thought they played really good. I thought I thought all of them played well. Chase Brown as well. And I thought Nate Wiggins showed up a little bit in that game at times. I thought he looked pretty good. Going up against T. Higgins. So that was a Clemson on Clemson thing. I thought he did a good job. I think Nate Wiggins is going to be, and I know he's a fan of the podcast, but I think he's going to be really good for the Ravens. I'm not going to lie. I think you can make an argument he's outplayed Marlon
Humphrey. I was about to say he already probably our best corner. Marlon's played very
he's
good.
Already kind of outplayed him this year.
Yeah, Marlon's played very good too. But I think Nate Wiggins. I just see the flashes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He don't let.
I watched Nate Wiggins up against CeeDee Lamb. I thought he held his own against a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. And then I watched him again this weekend against T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, top 20 wide receivers, and I thought he held his own when he was on them. So again, man, I'm pretty impressed with Nate. And I know Nate's a fan and a friend of the show, but I think he's having a great rookie year, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
So I want to talk a little bit about Josh Allen too, though, a little bit, because it seems like we got YOLO Josh Allen back again, bro. The last 2 weeks, it's crazy because we was talking about how great he was this year and he was taking care of the ball, and Josh Allen, as he's turned to me and you both, we was up here singing his praises just 3 weeks ago. We were saying he should be MVP, and now since we said that, I'm gonna look up his stats because I want to know what he's done since we said that, because it literally feels like since we said that. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, he still ain't turned the ball over, but the last 2 weeks,
YOLOing though.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks.
Literally since we said that, he's threw for a combined. Remember, I'm saying this: 1 touchdown and a combined. He threw for 180 in one game, and then 131 in another. So he's thrown the ball in 2 games now, y'all. I want to repeat this: in 2 games, he's thrown for a combined 311 yards. So
He's 25 of 59 in the last 2 games. 25 of 59.
He hasn't turned the ball over, but these Ravens and Texas game, I think this last game was just worse. He was like 30% completion percentage, bro. It was bad. So I'm not giving up on Josh Allen. I still think he's having a better season than what he normally does. Yeah. But we are starting to see the downturn spiral a little bit here. So I am getting a little concerned about that, in my opinion.
And in my opinion, the team, McDermott was always not it for me, bro. Yeah. I've been saying that for the last couple of years. I didn't think McDermott was doing him any favors, doing anybody any favors. They struggling. Yeah. Wide receiver wise, I'm not impressed, bro. Keon Coleman
looked all right. I thought Coleman was great.
He's a rookie. You know what I'm saying? So, but you got your number 2 is what, Khalil Shakir, and then you got Mac Hollins.
Yep.
That's your number 3. Like,
where's ain't Samuels there? Ain't Curtis Samuels there?
Curtis Samuel there too, yeah. But he had 4 targets this weekend, 1 catch, 0 yards.
So he's barely playing.
Barely playing. I mean, it's just they line him up in the backfield sometimes. I mean, I don't know, man. The team is this was always going to be a down year kind of for the Bills. I think we said that. But I think me and you both thought they were going to be a little bit better than this. They started off 3-0, which is really good. Yeah. But again, the teams that they played were the Cardinals, the Dolphins, and the oh Lord, I just had it. The Cardinals, and the Jaguars.
Okay.
Those are 3 teams.
They all suck.
Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be for real. Then they bumped into the Ravens, who needed that win and got it. And then they bumped into the
Texans.
The Texans this week.
Be 4-1. Yeah.
So I don't know. And it was a close game. They played a very good game. Yeah. I felt like defensively at least. But 9 of 30, bro, that is bad.
Yeah.
You can't be, bro. My thing is, let's clear the air. Let me clear the air here. All right. If Lamar Jackson went 9 for 30, I would never hear the end of it.
Oh, yeah, he'd be getting shredded.
If Lamar Jackson went 9 for 30 in a game, I would never hear the end of it. I still hear when Cam Newton went 6 of 28 or whatever it was against the Dolphins when he came back. You know what I'm saying? That was terrible. Why ain't heard Josh Allen going 30%? Less than 30%.
Really, yeah.
Why ain't heard about that? 9 of 30. 30 pass attempts and you only completed 9. I thought that was a typo when I seen it walk across my screen.
It's nasty.
9 of 30. Answer me, bro. Somebody need to answer me. Why?
Yeah, it's nasty. Ain't no other way around it, brother.
Why ain't heard about it? You can't be no MVP. You can't be no top 2, top 3. You can't be no people. And Lamar hit that fumble and it was 1 yard away from the sidelines. People was like, "Oh, he doing his best Josh Allen impression." No, his best Josh Allen impression seemed like it would be 9 of 30 or throwing 50 picks. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Right. Come on, man.
Like crazy, yeah.
Let's be honest, bro. It's sickening, man. It really is.
Yeah, he's fell off a cliff the last 2 games, man. I don't know what's going on. Before we head out, though, I did want to bring up something that's kind of we got to be careful with this one. A little bit off topic, but it's on topic with Houston. Stephon Diggs, dude. Have you seen the Cardi B?
I don't want no part of that.
Cardi B suing us, bro.
I don't want no part of that, man. Listen. If the rumors and reports are true, that's sick. That's just sick. You feel me? I don't want no. That's
Cardi B known for suing folks too. So Cardi B, we don't know nothing. We good dog. Don't send no cease and desist to us. We don't know nothing, bro. I don't know. I'm just saying what they saying on the internet.
Me and you be somewhere in cuffs, bro.
Right. Yeah, no.
Me and you be somewhere in cuffs, man.
Crazy, though.
Listen, that's why they said they didn't want Diggs dating their sister, though. The whole Vikings team
Minnesota
in that video.
Well, they said Diggs, again, this is alleged. Everything's alleged that we're talking about right now, Cardi B. We know you like suing people. allegedly, they were saying that Diggs, man, he had like 2 girls in the hotel room in the same hotel, like on different floors. A couple of you, do you remember that?
On Valentine's Day?
On
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, this
but
and that was
Diggs
after
crazy,
that video
man.
dropped where everybody was saying like, oh, I wouldn't let my sister date Diggs. Yeah, dude, Diggs he's out here, man. He's out here, bro. And then something came out about Diggs out. I thought allegedly, again, this is allegedly, something about his stylist got robbed or he had a stylist robbed or something like that.
Oh, really?
I seen that today. Something about somebody said Stephon Diggs had a stylist robbed and took his clothes. And I don't know. Diggs is in the news about a lot of stuff right now.
You think setting us in the set, bro?
I don't know, man.
Nah, let me. I don't know, man. But that's crazy,
I want
bro.
to bring up the Stephon Diggs thing since we talking about Houston, because that's again, Cardi B. We don't know. We ain't, you know.
No.
But she ain't refuted them allegations though. You know, she gonna be on there like, oh no, she ain't said nothing. You know, she see and hear everything about her. So it is kind of a little alarming. She ain't said nothing.
Man,
I don't know.
We everything that we know about them two, their relationship is so involuntarily, bro. We don't be asking for none of that.
You talking about Offset and Cardi?
Yeah, man, they got too much.
Yeah,
they got too much. They got too much going on, man. They need to. They need, first of all, they need to stop talking. That's what they need to do. They need to stay away from each other. Man. They need to stop all of that, bro. Like I don't want to know.
On top of that, they got kids together, bro. And that oldest one, she's probably getting old enough now to look up on her phone and be like, "Oh, mommy and daddy are arguing." Like they gotta do better for that, bro.
And they just had one like a couple weeks ago,
like 2 weeks ago. Bro,
man, come on, dog.
Yeah,
it's real nasty, bro. I don't, like I said, I don't want no parts of that. What I want Offset and that Gunna, apparently they got a collab in the works, man.
Get that album in, brother. I'm with that now. Offset and Gunna, they got a good little mix. I like them. I like them two together. But
I like them together and I like them separate.
Yeah.
Pause, but like they, you know what I'm saying? Like they need to go ahead and drop the album, bro, or at least just drop some more music. Both of them.
I like both of their music together and apart from each other as well. I agree. Yeah, but all right, man. We're gonna wrap it up here, man. Appreciate y'all's love and support. Thank y'all again. If you are in Florida, please stay safe. Get out of there. It might be too late if you ain't out of there by now. But get out of there if you already are out of there. I'm praying for you. Keep your family prayed up and safe. Thank y'all for supporting us. Again, another really, really good episode. Cam, did you want to say anything to everybody before we sign out for the night?
Nah, man. Appreciate y'all again, man. Y'all already know. Y'all stay safe out there for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Next week is gonna be absolutely crazy because the college football weekend we are about to see is going to be absolutely spectacular. Have you seen the slate, Cam? Before we log off, it's crazy. It's like USC, Penn State,
Oregon,
Tennessee, Florida, Oregon, Ohio State. It's loaded. Like Oklahoma, Texas. Like we're gonna have a lot to talk about coming back next week. Can't wait. It's gonna be a good weekend, man. Appreciate y'all's love and support. Stay safe, and we'll holler at y'all next week, man. Y'all take it easy and have a good